The psychology of a genius. Imagine dropping an apple. It falls. Congratulations. You've just repeated an experiment that's been performed a few trillion times throughout human history. Most people watch the apple hit the ground and continue with their day. Isaac Newton watched it and accidentally ruined high school physics forever. Then, about 250 years later, Albert Einstein looked at the exact same universe and basically said, "I think we're still missing something." Which raises a very strange question. How does one person look at the exact same world as billions of other people and notice something everyone else missed? See, we have this strange belief that geniuses know more than everyone else. They don't. Einstein wasn't the only physicist alive. Thousands of brilliant scientists had access to the same books, the same equations, the same universe. The difference wasn't the information, it was the questions. Most people use knowledge to answer questions. Geniuses use knowledge to question answers. Take time, for example. Most of us treat time like Wi-Fi. It's just there. You don't question it. You just get annoyed when it's slow. Einstein looked at time and asked, "What if it isn't constant?" Which is a completely unreasonable question, until it changes physics forever. That's one thing psychologists have noticed about exceptionally creative people. Most people accept the world the way it is. A genius has the annoying habit of asking, why? Not because they're trying to be different, because their brain refuses to treat "everyone knows that" as evidence. Then there's confusion. Most of us hate it. If something doesn't make sense after a few minutes, we assume it's too difficult. A genius often reacts very differently. Confusion isn't a stop sign, it's a treasure map. Einstein once said he wasn't exceptionally talented. He just stayed with problems longer, which sounds humble until you realize longer sometimes meant years. Most of us can't stay focused on a TV series for that long. Another thing that made Einstein unusual wasn't his memory. It was his imagination. Most scientists run experiments in laboratories. Einstein ran many of his inside his head. He imagined chasing a beam of light through space. He imagined standing inside an elevator floating through the universe. Most people daydream about winning the lottery. Einstein daydreamed his way into rewriting modern physics, different hobbies. Psychologists call this mental simulation, the ability to build detailed scenarios in your mind and explore them as if they were real. The more vivid those mental experiments become, the easier it is to notice patterns that other people never even think to look for. But perhaps the biggest difference isn't intelligence, it's curiosity. Children ask endless questions. Why is the sky blue? Why do birds fly? Why can't cats pay taxes? Eventually, most of us stop asking. Not because we have all the answer, but because our brain likes efficiency. Once something seems familiar, it quietly labels it already understood. A genius often ignores that label. They keep asking questions long after everyone else has become comfortable with the answers. So what's the psychology of a genius? It isn't a magical IQ, it isn't a photographic memory, and it definitely isn't solving impossible equations before breakfast. It's the willingness to stay curious when everyone else stops looking, to stay confused when everyone else gives up, to question ideas that feel too obvious to question. Because sometimes the biggest discoveries don't come from seeing something new. They come from looking at something everyone has already seen and asking a question nobody else thought to ask.